Hi, my name is Finlo, and I am 8 years old. A time when I was scared was when I was in this slide that went super fast, and it was going faster than I wanted, and I have a fear of going too fast because mistakes can be made when you go too fast. Just like when you're, say, writing. If you write too fast, you're going to write off the lines or very badly. And it was very scary because it was one of those metal ones. So if I put my hand out, my hands would start getting cuts and start bleeding and be really hot. So I couldn't do that. And the only thing that I was on was a rubber mattress. I think it was in Sky Zone. They have these giant things. And when I was at the bottom, my heart was pounding and beating really fast. And then another kid came right after me and almost hit me. I was able to jump out of the way, but it was a very close call. And it was very, very scary to me. When I am scared, how I help myself is I use things that I can squish with my hands. So I have some things where you just squish and the color comes out, depending on how much you squeeze. And that helps out a lot. But the thing is that sometimes they break very easily with too much stress put into them. Or sometimes I also like to read a lot. When I'm scared, I talk to my family members to help myself calm down too. Or if I talk to a family member, it's easier for me to speak my feelings, and that can help me calm down. Things I am afraid of is there's a lot of I've heard coyotes in the neighborhood, and that is very scary for kids, just to have a coyote pop out of nowhere. Especially I just read a book where a cougar almost took out a kid, which was very scary. I guess that is all for now.
Hi, my name is Max, and I'm 9 years old.
Hi, my name is Ryker, and I'm 12 years old. When was the time when you felt scared?
Sometimes I feel scared when the lights go out in a big storm.
Who or what helped you when you were scared?
Sometimes my mom and I sang lullabies, and that helped me. What was the time when you were scared, Ryker?
Sometimes when I was younger, I used to have nightmares a lot more often than I do now. And I would wake up, and I would be like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. And I would go to my mom and dad's room, and I would say, Mom, Dad, I had a nightmare. Can we pray together? And we prayed for the angels to come and make my nightmares go away, and they did.
So once we were on a Ferris wheel in Seattle, and we got stuck at the top, and it was super windy. So it was kind of shaking.
And what did you do to overcome that fear?
I sat next to my mom.
That's good.
And Dad.
First day of 6th grade, let's say that. I wasn't really scared, but I was more gotta make a good, I felt like I had more pressure. I was gotta make a good first impression, because it's at a different school, different people, different teachers. So it's fresh start. So I was it's not that I was scared, it was more I just felt kind of nervous because I was putting a lot of pressure on myself. But then I eventually just was it's not a big deal. Wait, let's just do this. And yeah.
Hi, I'm Cora, and I am 7 years old. And I'm almost 8. Well, one of the times that I was scared is, I forget what caused it, but I had a dream that I was at my grandparents' house, and that they didn't have a rug in front of the fireplace, but in my dream they did. And then in my dream, I saw something under there, and I didn't really want to see it. And then I asked my mom to lift it up because she was there too, and she lifted it up and she was like, it's a baby monster. And I was like, no, monsters don't meal. And she was like, no, it's a baby monster. And I was like, monsters don't meal. And then she said it was a baby monster. And I was like, and then she said, no, they're not meal. And then she said, come over here, I'll show you. And then I saw it, and it was like a pink one that had like little horns sticking out of its head. And, in my dream, I didn't believe my mom that there was actually a monster under their forest until I saw it. One time, I had watched bits of Lilo and Stitch, but I hadn't actually ever watched the entire movie of Lilo and Stitch. And my mom didn't really know that yet. So she took me to Lilo and Stitch live action, and then I figured out in the live action that their parents died, and then I had a bad dream about that in my bed. It started out with Elsa and Anna's parents dying in a different way, and then it kind of turned into mine. It's scary that such an important person to me dies. I like to talk about it. I don't really like to talk about it with very many people. It's usually just my parents. And it often for the parent one, it just stopped after time I'd been worrying about it, and then nothing had ever happened. And then for the monster one of my grandmas said that my mom pushed to know because she was pretty sure that my aunt had some scary things like that. And so she gave my mom some advice, and then she told the advice to me. And the advice was, you take your dream and you turn it into something different. What I did I did the exact same thing, except I turned the monster into a little kitten. The monster thing was something that happened when I was like 4 or 5. That's when it happened, and now I'm not really scared of monsters much anymore because I know that they don't exist, and I made a picture of the kitten, and my mom, since obvious when you were 4 or 5, you do not know how to write, so my mom, so I told her what to write, and my mom wrote it for me. And then I hanged it up with blue tape in my bedroom. One of my suggestions on when people are scared is don't try to keep it to yourself. The best way to help to get it to stop is to talk about it, because the more you talk, for a lot of children, the more you talk about it, the little more it gets. My dog did die in October, but it made it a little easier because he died right before Dia de los Muertos.
So why did that make it easier?
Well, I didn't really have to it would be easier if you celebrated something that when your pet dies, you do it. I mean, if your pet just recently died, would you want to celebrate it really soon, or in a long time?
Did that help you with thinking about a parent dying, or with the Anna and Elsa stuff, or the Lilo and Stitch stuff?
Not super, because for real life, the dog did die. It's not like the dog was just my brain. I had a bad dream about my dog Annie dying. In dog years, she was 91, so she would be.
That's pretty old.
Yeah. In human years, I think she was 12 or 14.
Yeah, that's still pretty old, huh? For a dog.
Yeah, for a dog.
Yeah.
This has been a production of Trinity Episcopal Cathedral in Portland, Oregon. Music for this podcast was performed by James Walton. For more information about Trinity and our community, go to www.trinity-episcopal.org.